Yo, what's poppin' everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Zach Lesage here. Today we're going to be covering over Regidrago V-STAR, one of the surprise stars of the show at the North American International Championships. We all saw it get that top 16 finish that we weren't expecting, except for the player that probably made top 16, and the deck has been a surprise hit ever since. In our new set, Shrouded Fable, we do get a brand new card, Kyurem, and a handful of other cards that you might want to add into this deck. In this video, I'm going to be showcasing over my deck list, the strategy, and going over all the cards individually since the set is not available on TCG Live right now. If you want to copy and paste this deck into Limitless Deck Builder or any of the simulators, by all means, it's in the description. Feel free to copy and paste from below. And if you're missing any cards, check out Kayfabe cards for any individual singles or PTCGL store for any code cards that you need to play the deck online. That being said, let's get it. Let's jump into this deck list. Here you have it, Regidrago V-STAR. Regidrago V-STAR might look a little bit weird at first with all these stage 2 V-Stars, Pokemon EX, dragon type Pokemon. You might be like, is this a Dragon Box deck? And you'd kind of be correct, but you might also be wondering why the energy requirements are all a little bit weird when it comes to these dragon type Pokemon and why we don't have the correct energies. Well, Regidrago V-STAR has its attack that allows you to copy any dragon type Pokemon from your discard pile, ignore the attack cost. So we can use the grass energies and fire energies to really build up this Pokemon, using Teal Mask Ogerpon to accelerate energies with its Teal Dance ability, and using Energy Switch to move those energies over to your Regidrago V-STAR. Once you evolve into Regidrago V-STAR, you just got to slap on that fire energy and you should be good to go. As you're building that up, get those dragon type Pokemon like Dragapult, Regidrago EX, and the brand new Kyurem in your discard pile, and you have a wide range of attacks that makes this deck similar to the 2019 World Championship winning Mewtwo and Mew EX deck. So is the deck going to be very good? Well, we've already seen that it's good. We've seen that it made top 16 at the North American International Championships, and could it do better at Worlds? We're gonna have to find out when it comes down to it. But there's enough of a strategy here where we have a solidified base, and adding a couple new cards such as the Kyurem, the Fezandipiti, and Night Stretcher from Shrouded Fable is really what allows sometimes these decks to soar to new heights. I'm going to jump into every single card individually, or most cards individually, in this next section, so let's see exactly what these cards actually do. So kicking things off, we're going to look at Regidrago V-STAR. Its Apex Dragon is really what makes this deck work, and that's its first attack and only attack. Well, I mean, I guess it has a few other attacks when you consider that it can copy any dragon type Pokemon in your discard pile and use it as this attack, but Apex Dragon is really the attack that enables that strategy to happen, which makes it kind of unique. So in order to have dragon Pokemon in our discard pile, we have to have dragon Pokemon, and we have to have them in our discard pile. So we have a handful of different Pokemon that we'll go through individually, such as Dragapult EX, Hisuian Goodra V-STAR, Regidrago EX, Noivern EX, Kyurem, and even Regidrago V can be copied as well. We have Ultra Ball and Professor's Research and a handful of other cards that allow us to discard these key Pokemon so we can activate our Apex Dragon attack. Now, we have to power up Regidrago V-STAR somehow, and that's going to happen from Teal Mask Ogerpon EX from our Twilight Masquerade. So we're really using this as a way to accelerate energies to ourselves, and while Teal Mask Ogerpon EX's Teal Dance can only accelerate energies to itself, we have Energy Switch that allows us to take that Teal Danced energy and move it to Regidrago V-STAR. If we do Energy Switch twice, that means that we can kind of just search our deck for a fire energy, maybe with a card like Earthen Vessel or Superior Energy Retrieval, and make Apex Dragon look like an ease to pull off. If we're ever struggling to make that happen, we also have our ability Legacy Star, which is during your turn, you may discard the top 7 cards of your deck, which might help with a lot of our getting those dragon type Pokemon in our discard pile, and search for 2 cards from our discard pile and put them into our hand. The cards can go before we discarded those cards, so it's your discard pile total. So if you discarded anything like an Energy Switch, a Fire Energy, anything that you need, Regidrago V-STAR's Legacy Star ability might make that happen. So we have to get there at some point, and Regidrago V-STAR is a V-STAR Pokemon, meaning it has to evolve from a Pokemon V. We have Regidrago V as just really a way to evolve into Regidrago V-STAR. Sure, Dragon Laser could see some success at any point by doing 130 and 30, but typically it's going to be better to use Dragapult EX's Phantom Drive if we're ever going to be copying anything. I mean, I guess in a pinch we could accelerate energies the same way and use Dragon Laser turn 1 to score a turn 1 win, but that might not necessarily be so likely. Really where this deck shines is the Apex Dragon copying different dragon type Pokemon, and Dragapult EX is one of our new cards that we received from Twilight Masquerade. This is one of the stars of the show at NAIC, and you can copy Phantom Dive to do 200 damage to the active and 6 damage counters anywhere, giving this deck, I mean, you're kind of like Dragapult, one of the other tier 1-ish decks in format. Now, we also get to copy an attack of a lesser used Pokemon, such as Hisuian Goodra V-STAR. While this deck has seen success, or this card has seen success in the past, we could use Rolling Iron, do 200 damage, and reduce your opponent's attacks by 80 less going forward. So your opponent might not necessarily be able to take a 280, plus there's a minus 80 on there, 360 damage Pokemon, and sure, there's Prime Catcher, boss kind of plays that can happen, but it is quite hard to overcome, and it can allow you to tank another hit doing 200 and reducing your opponent's attack. We have Raging Bolt EX, again another Twilight Masquerade card that really made this deck shine. You could pitch any of your energies from play and really kind of take inspiration from the Raging Bolt Teal Mask Ogerpon deck and discard some of those energies from the Teal Mask Ogerpon and other Pokemon in play to score an OHKO if you ever need so. One card that personally stopped me from making top 8 at the North American International Championships when I was in day 2 was Noivern EX. Yep, I faced one of these Regidrago decks, and they had a Noivern EX deck that stopped my Ancient Box deck from functioning completely. You can copy the Covert Flight attack, doing 70 damage, and prevent all damage done by your opponent's attacks from basic Pokemon. That can be really tough when you're only playing basic Pokemon, so Covert Flight could really be an interesting attack. On top of that, Dominating Echo can do 140 and your opponent can't play any special energies or stadium cards from their hands, really giving you a disruptive flair in the mid to late game. One card I haven't added into this deck, and I previously had in another list, was Haxorus, and I do want to point that out. It is not here, but you could have Haxorus or maybe even Giratina V-STAR or Giratina V to copy any of those attacks when it comes down to it. There's a lot of options when it comes to this deck, and it can depend on the metagame. I didn't include Haxorus because I don't foresee a lot of special energies in this format. I've built up quite a few Shrouded Fable decks, and they don't really have a lot of special energies right now. Same thing with Giratina V-STAR. I'm not sure if there's any Pokemon with 280 HP that I want to knock out. I don't think I'm there yet. Same thing with Giratina V. Do I want to do 160 damage Shred? Sure, I could see it seeing some success against Mimikyu or Cornerstone Ogerpon. Those are not really cards that are currently present in the metagame that I foresee. However, if that changes, I will add those into the deck. So if I see in the comments, let me know what other dragon type Pokemon you might want to include in your deck, but those are cards that I've definitely thought about. Moving on to Kyurem, one of the new cards that we have from Shrouded Fable. This is actually one of those cool cards that we can use either as attacking with it on its own, or we can use Regidrago V-STAR to copy it. So if our opponent played any Colress in their name, like you're playing against, or a card with Colress in its name, like a Lost Zone box deck, or maybe they added the new Colress's Tenacity from Shrouded Fable, you can use Trifrost. Geez, these new attacks are so hard to pronounce. For 1 colorless energy. You can discard all energy from that Pokemon, and if you do, it does 110 to 3 of your opponent's Pokemon. Well, that card sounds particularly strong against Lost Zone box deck, especially if they don't have Manaphy in play. And if they do have Manaphy in play, you could use Canceling Clone. Canceling Clone is also an answer to Mimikyu, Cornerstone, Mask, Ogerpon, because we can attack through those abilities with any of our Pokemon. And we could also get that card back with Regidrago V-STAR's Legacy Star if we know that we'll need Canceling Clone more than once. But in this case, we have it with Kyurem to go against a Manaphy. So if we bring up their Manaphy with Prime Catcher or Boss's Orders, we can cancel and clone 110 to 3 of their Pokemon, drawing 3 prize cards pretty much at once. And if they have Colress in play, we can attack for only 1 energy. So you got to be careful when you're using it with Regidrago V-STAR, because you do have to follow all the effects of the attacks, including discard all energies attached to that Pokemon. But if we have a way to build up those energies next turn, or if we have it as the game-winning play, we certainly have opportunities to make it happen. One of the new cards that we've added into this deck is Fezandipiti EX. So being able to draw 3 cards if any of our Pokemon were knocked out during our opponent's last turn, giving us a little bit more of an answer to a Roxanne, an Iono, anything else. And it is Ultra Ballable, Nest Ballable. We can search it out at any given point. We have that Squawkabilly EX for that turn 1 to pitch away any of the cards that we have. We're a very discard heavy deck, so Squawkabilly fits in here to get grass energies in the discard pile to get back with superior energy retrieval, to get dragon Pokemon in the discard pile to power up Apex Dragon. And we also have Radiant Charizard in this deck. I think having a single prize card Pokemon that can default attack against your opponent for a lot of damage can really help out. I've seen how it works against some aggressive decks such as Raging Bolts, Ogerpon, or Miraidon. Radiant Charizard is more than worthwhile and can pull its own weight. We have a typical supporter line for a deck like this: research to pitch and draw cards, boss's orders to gust up whatever we want, and we also have Prime Catcher to gust up whatever we want, as well as an additional switching card. And Iono in case we need to kind of disrupt our opponent or shuffle cards and put them at the bottom of our deck, just so that we avoid decking out. Same thing, Ultra Ball is going to be searching out any of our key pieces like Regidrago, and of course working as a way to discard some of our dragon type Pokemon or grass energies that we might want to get back later. Nest Ball can get out whatever we need. We need to start somewhere, and these are really basic cards that we need in most decks. And since we are an energy heavy deck, we do have 4 copies of that Earthen Vessel card from Paradox Rift, being able to pitch a card like our dragon cards, getting energies and accelerating them to Ogerpon, or grabbing that fire energy necessary to attack with Regidrago V-Star. Energy Switch is going to allow us to move those energies from Ogerpon wherever we want. Superior Energy Retrieval is going to get back those energies that we previously pitched. And sometimes you need a switch just for good efforts. You might need to get out of the active spot. I mean, when Regidrago V-Star has 3 retreat costs, something like Switch can be quite impactful. Super Rod can get back any cards that we need. Maybe we discarded too much with Squawkabilly earlier on in the game. And Night Stretcher, being one of the new cards in this deck, can get us back a Drago V or any of our Teal Mask Ogerpons we discarded, maybe getting back the Kyurem, a Fezandipiti. We have a lot of ways to get back our Pokemon, or we can just get back a basic energy to use with Teal Mask Ogerpon. We have a lot of really cool ways that we could utilize that card right away. We have a fair amount of grass and fire energies for a deck such as Ogerpon to accelerate energies, and of course a few fires to build up that fire energy requirement of Apex Dragon, or the fire energy requirement of Radiant Charizard's Combustion Blast. Regidrago V-Star aims to be one of the most sneaky decks in format, allowing you to kind of tech all these different dragon-type Pokemon. So I'll leave the question with you. Which dragon-type Pokemon would you add to this deck? Do you like Regidrago V-Star? Let me know in the comments, because we do get back to every single comment when it comes to our Shuffle Squad videos. And that's what we got going on for our video today. I hope that you enjoyed learning more about this Regidrago V-Star list. I think Kyurem adds a huge element of surprise where you're like, 110, 110, 110, I win the game, I'm the champ, let's go. Or of course, you could use any of the other attacks. And I mean, Dragapult plus Kyurem allows you to make something that would have been 110 at 170. So we have a lot of ways that we can kind of plan some sneaky maneuvers to knock out multiple Pokemon, really allowing for a huge explosive turn at some point in the game. And like I said, I don't think this list is finalized. I think that the metagame is more than open to have a handful of different techs. I'm sure there's a lot of people that have their own personal techs that they want to add in. And I'm excited to hear about your feedback on the list, hear about your feedback on the techs that you might play. Do you love Regidrago? Do you hate Regidrago? Either way, hopefully you like this video, share, subscribe, and if you're looking for any other content, we got a lot of great content coming up from the squad. This is going to be my last video at this place, I think. And you're probably going to see my new setup for the next video. So if you're excited for that and a fan of Zach Lesage, which I hope you are, that's going to be something that's exciting to come up there. I'm really excited to shape up my new office in my new place, because I am moving, as you can see. Follow me on Twitter. I've probably explained a little bit more about that, but everything's going super great in my life, so I appreciate all of y'all. If you're looking for a place to play Pokemon or a place to kind of talk about Pokemon, I do have a link for my brand new Discord server in the description. Also, I offer Metafy coaching, so if you're looking to up your game for the 2024-25 season, or you're like, hey, you want to hang out with me for an hour or so, by all means, feel free to book something there. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch up with all y'all real soon. Happy testing for Shrouded Fable, Worlds, or anything else that you're testing for. Peace out and have a great one. Want to support the Shuffle Squad? Be sure to check out all of our sponsors in the description to pick up Pokemon TCG singles, sealed, and PTCG live codes. You made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching this entire video from the Shuffle Squad. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate each and every person that supports our content, watches what we have going on every single day, every single week, even from time to time, and continuously allows us to have a forum to project our creative content towards the Pokemon TCG community. So if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and even leave a comment to help boost the YouTube algorithm. That being said, we'll catch you with our next video. Thanks again. Take it easy.